Welcome back to Elden Ring. In this video we're going to be taking a look at a new type of build on the channel. I haven't done anything like this before, and not only is this build really powerful, but it's also a lot of fun because it does include fully poisoning yourself. And just quickly before we do get into it, if you're not currently subbed to the channel, make sure you do sub, turn notifications on. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. All support is greatly appreciated, and if you want to support me further as a creator, then check out the links in the description. And let's get into it. So we are going to be taking a look at one weapon in this, and that is the serpentbone blade. You cannot apply an Ash of War to it, however it does level up with smithing stones, so you can get it all the way up to plus 25. The good thing is, the skill that comes on it by default is double slash. So those of you familiar with the Rivers of Blood will know exactly how that works. It's got a fairly high attack power, 287, and I get a bonus 199 for my dex. It scales with strength and dex, E for strength and B for dexterity. It requires 22 dex and 11 strength to wield the weapon. It's got a 66 poison build-up. If you look at my dexterity, it's 40, so we will be boosting that with the Flask of Wondrous Physic. But in our offhand, we are going to be running the Golden Order seal. It doesn't have to be any particular seal, it's just I chose to put this one on. The only thing we're going to be using is Flame Grant Me Strength and Golden Veil. Then for this one, we have a completely different look. We are running a full-on mushroom armor set. It doesn't really do a lot for your damage negation. The crown does weigh a little bit, but if we go into the description for the crown, it raises your attack power when something nearby suffers from poison or rot. What we are also going to run alongside this is the Kindred of Rot's Exaltation, so that when there is poisoning or rot in the area, it will also increase your attack power. Then, because of the double slash skill, we are running the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, which greatly raises your attack power with successive attacks. Then I've got the Prosthesis Wearer Heirloom to raise my dex, and the Shard of Alexander to greatly boost the attack power of the skills. We are then running the Fetid Pots. I have 7 of them, and you are going to need to use 3 to actually apply poison. You can obviously just attack enemies over and over again with the serpentbone blade, and that is going to apply poison to an enemy. However, the test I like to run up at Mountaintops of the Giants, the enemy we attack doesn't take 2 status effects. Then in the Flask of Wondrous Physic, the Dex Not Crystal tier to give us a 10 boost to our dexterity. So that will go up to 50, and obviously you can raise it even further if you want to. And then we have the Thorny Cracked tier to add on to the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia to boost our successive attack power. So if we come over to my favourite test subject, the big giant or golem, what we are going to do first is drink our flask. And then what I'm going to do is jump off. I'm going to use Golden Veil, then Flame Grant Me Strength. And you will see that with this, a jumping right trigger deals 1837. And then providing we can land successive attacks, the damage goes up quite a lot. And we can also stagger this guy to get a crit on him if he doesn't keep moving around. And if he doesn't absolutely ruin me. And you'll see with this, a right trigger, because this weapon is a katana, the right trigger doesn't do a standard like little thrust. The right trigger on this does like a nice little double slash. But you can double it up and do a 360 spin and then pull off another one. So you get 4 attacks. So it's pretty much all about your successive attacks. However, with them damage numbers, relatively low, about 1800 or something, if we then go back and we use the Fetid Pots this time, we're not only going to get a bonus from the Mushroom Crown, and I mean I know we look like an idiot, but we're also going to get the boost from the Kindred of Rot Exaltation. So if we come back over and we do the same thing again, and as I said, the higher your dexterity, the better this is going to be. And you don't really need to focus on any other stats, just make sure you've got the requirement in strength, and then you've got the requirement sorted for your incantations. So now, if we do all the buffs, but then if we poison ourselves, so if I chuck 3 of these at the floor, there's 1, there's 2, and there's 3, we're now poisoned. So if we come over and we do a jumping right trigger, you'll see that was nearly 3,000 that time. And then even though I've pressed the wrong button, Look at that damage difference. Nearly 10,000 damage. And he has been absolutely ruined. Obviously, you need to be careful. You are poisoned. But this also works with Scarlet Rot. It doesn't have to be poison. And Scarlet Rot is amazing because it deals ticking damage. It's a high amount of damage it does. And it lasts for 3 entire minutes. So it's entirely up to you whether you go poison or rot. I've just gone poison for the sake of going poison, really, and because the weapon has a poison build-up. However, if you want to switch the weapon out and run, I can't remember which weapon it is that does a Scarlet Rot build-up. I believe there's only one in the game. But if you use that weapon instead, if you get something else to, like, apply Scarlet Rot to your own character, or if you just keep attacking enemies and build it up, you're going to get that extra damage. So over at the Isolated Merchant Shack, it's obviously going to be better because we don't need to use the fetid pots. We don't have to poison ourselves. It was just because that giant doesn't take to status effects. So if we use the Flask of Wondrous Physic, then we use Golden Vow, and then we use Flame Grant Me Strength. And we're going to hope and pray that this guy goes away. He's not going to, is he? Okay, I'm just going to try and apply poison. So jumping right trigger, it's 1100 damage, and after 2 hits we've actually staggered him, and he's dead. We didn't even really apply any status effect because the weapon is that good. So if I try again with the skill this time, it doesn't even matter. You press your left trigger twice, I don't even have enough time to apply poison. So without the stack of the extra damage from the crown, and without it from the Kindred of Rot's Exaltation, you're still doing enough damage in 2 left trigger attacks. So 1 for the double, and then the second for the triple. You're still doing enough damage with this build to take out the dog that's up at the Isolated Merchant Shack in Caelid. So as I said, this is based around poison. It's a very, very fun build, overpowered, and there's not actually a lot to it. You do have to go to the Lake of Rot to get your hands on the Mushroom Crown. It might take you a little while to get the build together, but as I said, it doesn't have to be poison. You can do it with Scarlet Rot as well. And what we're going to do on that note is leave the video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you guys enjoyed it.